Great stuff. Well, good afternoon and welcome. My name is Richard Betts. I'm going to spend half an hour with you this afternoon answering the question, how can cloud enable business transformation? So we spent an awful lot of time this morning understanding different technologies, different drivers in the market, different approaches that are taking place. And probably the biggest thing that we've certainly seen take place recently is the shift from IT being a prescriber, which was covered, to actually IT being in a position where it's become quite reactive, where the business are going about taking on board technology and consuming it, and then IT having to embrace that and deal with that. So what we're going to look at today is how does cloud enable business transformation? And we're going to do that by starting off very, very high level. We're going to start initially looking at the market forces driving change. What's the catalyst for change? Is there a catalyst for change? We're then going to move through a little bit of a process with discovery. How can we actually go about and find out what business transformation is, and how can we, from an IT perspective and from a management perspective, capture that valuable information? We'll then spend some time looking at the cloud. What is the cloud? Because there's an awful lot of discussion about the cloud. I love storm chasing and going after tornadoes, but it's probably not going to help the business too much, yeah? So that's one view of cloud, and then we've got the other view of cloud over here, which is very much, maybe a business enabling tool. And then we'll step back from that and actually say, okay, well, if we have got a cloud, what can we do with it? How can cloud support us with the extra services around our business? Because ultimately, IT teams are very, very small in this day and age. We don't have legions of people to support us. And then we'll talk a little bit about the approach that we follow as a business to help work with our clients. And that includes clients from a UK-based to an international user base. And then we'll just sum it up with a bit of measured success. Okay, so the human race, especially the Western world, has undergone a major realignment, probably the largest financial market realignment since the Great Depression. With the overextending of the banks, the economic crash, and that's still being felt now. We've got the public sector starting to feel the bite of cuts taking place. We've got impact on individuals. Every individual, you personally, your employees, your co-workers, are all under personal pressure. They're finding their cost of living is increasing, maybe salaries aren't increasing, the risk of keeping your job is ever more present. Businesses are striving to survive, businesses are going bust, businesses are consolidating. There is so much change going on at the moment in the marketplace. So with those sort of macro factors, the cloud has been born. And why was the cloud born? Well, let's just step back a second and ask ourselves, what is the cloud? So I've pulled Wikipedia, a great place to go, one definition of the cloud. One thing I'll say here, what we're talking about here is communications in the cloud. There's lots of different types of cloud. We're focusing this discussion on communications in the cloud. And there's a discussion here, and I think the key point here is taking communications and telecommunications, putting them up somewhere, and then enabling you to consume it over the public internet. That's one view. I would argue that first view is more sort of SMB type focus. What I find second, this is from the Cloud Communications group, is the last couple of words. Enable to build, deploy, and scale enterprise communication systems. That's taking cloud to a different level. That's enabling you to actually take what is essentially a small end, sub 30 user consumer model and deploy it across hundreds, thousands of users. And so we want to hold that thought. The other point I want to frame is what is business transformation, because there's an awful lot of things about it, but I want to just frame it for this afternoon's session. So business transformation, a couple of things, fundamental changes to your business. Why are these things happening? I'll tell you why they're happening is because your business, strategically, the board, are looking hopefully externally to what's going on. They maybe have external shareholders, may have venture capitalists. They want to get their return. They have to ensure this business survives, because what's happening is the organizations that can transform and respond quickly to the marketplace and exploit that market opportunity are really catching the dinosaurs napping. And we're seeing different types of organizations seeing this in different markets. We're seeing new competitors coming into markets that traditionally you would have never seen in those spaces. So the board are having to transform their business very, very quickly. And this is the point here. It says that a profound and radical change orientates the organization in a new direction. How on earth are we on an IT side going to embrace that? We've got change control, we've got regulation, we've got users to keep happy. How on earth can we quickly deploy that? Because you know what, if I'm the CIO, IT director, IT manager, responsible for that project, and I'm slowing the board down for what is a board level priority, probably not a good place to be for my personal career. So let's look at some cloud facts. Okay, so I've pulled this, done a bit of Googling, a bit of research. 53% of networks are not fully resilient. So this is from a survey we carried out at UC Expo. Okay, so what we've got here is IT-based folks saying, half of them are saying their networks aren't fully resilient. For cloud, we need network to work, right? 69% stated the cloud was ready to handle communications. That's good, yeah? Still 30% saying, oh, I'm not quite sure on that. 64% saying that actually cloud is faster when it comes to a speed of delivery. Absolutely interesting. Trailfinder's talk, it will give you a great overview of that. IBM, so a slightly different type of cloud, but what these guys are projecting is a 25% reduction in IT costs. Fantastic. Not only can you meet the transformation change, but deliver cost savings. That's a big tick, yeah? 49% saw improvement in employee mobility. How many times, do you get asked to people want to work from home, business continuity planning? How many times does your infrastructure or your organization's infrastructure stop you from doing that? If an employee wants to work in the evening, why stop them? Just make sure they're doing it in a secure way and on the systems you want. 55% saw an increase in efficiency. This is a great one, right? 2010, cloud market was worth $37 billion. 2015 is projected for $121 billion. 26% compound growth rate. Year on year, that market is growing. That is a huge phenomenon. If you could invest in that, you'll be a really wealthy person, yeah? What a growth market. Why is it growing is the question I ask. 80% of businesses are using at least one cloud service, and that's the ones you know about in your organization. 20,000 users, that's how many users we have deployed globally on our cloud-based platform. Guys, it's a time for change. The time's here, the time's to respond now from today. You've heard a lot about different ways of transformation, and we follow 5 steps, 5 very basic steps we follow. We want to know where we are, where we want to go, what changes we've got to make, how should we make the changes, and you know what, we want to measure it. Absolute basics, yeah, I get it. But how many times are we taking that and applying that back into our business? How often are we asking those changes? So what we embark on, the first thing I'll suggest if you're going to consider the transformation to, how are you going to align cloud, if I'm going to allow cloud around my business transformation, is to embark on a discovery phase. And this is the interesting point. This is the point now where your users, I will guarantee it, there are users, what's called shadow cloud, shadow IT. There are people out there now having to consume services that you're not providing in an IT role, because if they don't, they can't perform in their role. If they can't perform in their role, they've got a mortgage, kids maybe, dependency. They've got risk, personal pain. Maslow's pyramid of needs, quite down the bottom, just a bit above physical well-being, yeah, is keeping your job, yeah. If you don't give those functions to those people, that's the nerves that you're pressing. People will respond, some people will leave, some people will just accept it, others will do their own thing and change. And those are the ones you've got to embrace. So let's get under the skin of the company. Let's look at what's going on. Let's ask your users, ask your fee earners. Ask the people who are looking after your customer, because a customer's now a wolf. Yeah? Wolves are great if you can tame them and have them on your side, but my goodness me, they can give you a big painful bite if you ignore them. So what we'd recommend you do is start reconnect with the business. Let's see what's going on. Let's change it from what does the business need to actually critically, what do I need now? You walk into A&E with a big gaping wound, and a paracetamol is going to be helpful, but actually I'd rather have a plaster or a big bandage put on. Let's make sure we're getting to the critical life-saving things in your business now. How is your IT roadmap, or how is your business IT team, how are they aligned to where you're going? We're not even talking a strategic view here. We're not talking knocking on the CEO's door about what's going on. We're talking about the people who are leading business, client-facing, fee-generating teams within your business. Ultimately, the strategic plan's the panacea we want to head towards. And you know what? We can't eat an elephant in a day. Yeah? We've got to start somewhere. So out of all of those changes within the market, Britannic 4 years ago invested very heavily, and we were able to do that as a privately funded company. We've got our own very solid cash reserves, and we invested, and we're not scared of innovating. Yeah, we're happy to grab hold of the innovation nettle and do something with it. So we built our own cloud. The decision we had is, what do we do public-private cloud? And I get this. I'm an account director. I work with a whole range of different clients strategically to help with their business adoption and public cloud, private cloud. And I was thinking, how can I describe what public cloud is? And the best thing I came up with was a bus. I want to get from A to B, right? And from a cloud perspective, I don't really mind how I get there, but I've got to get there. But actually on that bus, I have no control. I've got to stop when the bus tells me to stop, yeah? I can't get off on the place I want. I've got to get off at a bus stop, yeah? I've all got to change. If that bus gets to the end of the line, I've got to get off that bus regardless, yeah? On a hot summer's day, I've got to squeeze onto that bus. And you know what? I'm dependent on a load of factors that are out of my control, yeah? I've got no view on increased capacity. If someone wants to do something new on that bus, if someone wants to play their music loud, I've got to listen to it. I don't want to listen to it, but I've got that shared experience. Does it do the job? Absolutely. Do I want to put my business, the drivers of transformation, on that vehicle? Questionable. What we're suggesting is private cloud, still the same journey, but you're in a chauffeur-driven car. You don't have to worry about driving it. You don't have to worry about fueling it up, keeping the lights on, washing it, cleaning it, oiling it. Yeah? All you want to do is get in the back of that car and you want to consume the applications you need to perform your job. Yeah? Be it emails, applications, reading the paper. You don't want to have that headache. Let someone else take care of that, but actually, let's save yourself. Let's sit in a nice air-conditioned car and have that private cloud experience versus the crammed, sweaty bus in summer. That's a very quick analogy of public and private cloud, in my view. So what does the Britannic cloud look like? Well, this is a picture those of you that are Britannic customers may see and may have seen around. And let's just break it down to some layers. So the first layer is the service layer. This is the payload, right? Guys, this is where you're putting the applications you need to consume. You need to apply to your business to effect a transformation. The infrastructure layer, this is the physical building blocks, yeah? This is the infrastructure that we're responsible for that are going to keep you available 24/7 with high availability. The connectivity layer is we've got to connect you guys to that, and how are we going to do that? And around the outside of it is the managed services. If you're going to trust a provider with the cloud, you've got to make sure that you've got the right SLAs, the right teams, the right visibility of what's going on. So what is the service layer? So we've got a number of providers. We've got Mitel, Avaya, and Link, all within our cloud environment. We've also got secondary products that are key to solutions. Oak, from the core logging side, Redbox, Computertel, number of different companies within that, and we're constantly reviewing and adding into that payload. What I would say is on the Britannic side is we've got some enabling technologies. SIP, massive adoption, interest rate today on SIP. SIP is an enabling technology, allows you to get all of your numbers across your whole estate and lift them into the cloud, which is quite important if you want to put your telephone system in the cloud, yeah? Communication in the cloud. We've got other applications such as NetConnect. So if you want to have presence on Link, but you want to talk on a Mitel handset in some offices and a Avaya handset in other offices, but you want to join the presence all together through Link, we've got a product called NetConnect that sits within that area that joins all these different bits of technologies together, as well as your CRM applications, as well as your practice management applications, as well as key bits of CRM that you need to bring in. NetConnect sits within that. So within that Britannic cloud is a load of enabling technologies, yeah? That's the can-do element, yeah? That's the bit that gels it together. The infrastructure, so lots of different things on. Let's just really summarize it from a very high level, yeah? It's built out of industry standard recognized platforms. It's built on a virtualized environment, yeah? If we need that, we can deploy in different types of way within that layer. We've got a lot of security around that, and we're BSI 27001, yeah? Sorry, but we're really proud of it, yeah? Security is a big rubber stamp, which is important, yeah? Because we're holding your data there. Yeah, I was in discussions with a client of mine today, 1,300 users, and we're talking about their storage of their voice calls. Pretty important stuff, yeah? All based onshore in the UK, spread across 3 data centers, fully meshed and fully highly available. We can also link that infrastructure layer into your data centers if you wish, so we can spread that risk as you see fit as your business, so you can mix and match across that. Connectivity, we've got to join you guys to us, and there's a number of different connections we need to make. So as you'd expect, we've got a number of different providers. So the first one's Fibre Ethernet, and using FTC fibre into organizations to actually support the connectivity into the cloud. Because it's great having this great cloud environment, but if you can't get into it, you've got this lovely waiting limousine, but you don't know how to find the limousine, it's not a lot of use to you, yeah? So we need to connect you guys very easily. We also got a range of DSL applications. Interconnects are very, very powerful. We use this, if you've already got your MPLS already, we're not suggesting you change it. It would be lovely if you spoke to us over that. But what we're suggesting is, well, if you've got an infrastructure that's fit for purpose, why do we not join our cloud into your environment? And we use interconnects to huge effect in that area. Wireless, I've got a production company of mine, and they were running a production. I got a phone call. Rich, I've got a real problem. I can't get any connectivity. BT aren't getting me the fibres or even copper into that building. This was for a TV production show that was going out at the weekend. So contacted our partners at WireMax. Were very quickly able to deliver. Thankfully, it was in London. It would have been stuffed if it wasn't, but London was the place. Very quickly, the guys in our carrier services team mobilised, delivered the solution, got the client out of bother. So we've got multiple ways that we can connect you to our cloud. We also need to get you connected from the point of your phone lines, yeah? Or we need to think about business continuity elements. So we've got a very tight relationship with BT where we can help with our porting process and moving you guys onto the platform, and also from the point of view of DR and non-geographic numbers too, which are important for some clients. What GSM network as well. Now this is key because what's come out of today, and maybe you may have picked up on it, but certainly mobile technology, a lot of you today were using mobile tablets, some of you maybe with laptops, but most of you probably with phones or tablets to actually be in a position where you're entering into the pole. So what happens if you could deploy voice services to that? And I did this in one of my hotel clients. They needed to give their guest managers access onto the phone system very quickly, but they didn't have time to deploy a Wi-Fi solution for opening. So what we did is we put a Mitel SIP client onto their Apple iPhones, connected over a SIP over their Wi-Fi network, and we got that live within a couple of days, ready for when they're open. Very quick to deploy, but our understanding of the GSM side really does help with that. Okay. If you're going to trust a provider with your cloud, I'm sure, and if you're linking this cloud to your business processes, an SLA is probably pretty key. We run a 5 nines SLA on our core applications. 5 nines. There's not a lot of providers that I'm aware of are happy to commit to that in a contract and back that up with service credits as well if we underperform. Just hold that thought about the SLA for now. We'll give you real-time ticketing, change management. We'll give you control of your cloud if you want, or actually we'll control it for you if you want it as an outsourced. We don't mind. We may want to flex that cover. You may have a big IT project going on that you need us to help support you on your voice for now and your communications. We can do that. We can flex and adjust that as we're going through the life cycle. But service reviews, absolutely critical, guys. If you've got a cloud provider, how are you ensuring that they're matching up to the levels you need? We will review that regularly with you, yeah? Stop working. Okay, so the SLAs, it's all great having an SLA and a contract, but transparency is key. We will give you the screens real time, what's happening with the health of your cloud into your contact centers, into your IT teams. Transparency with any cloud provider. Remember, guys, this isn't just technology. This is your business transformation processes. You need to be able to track and see what's going on with it. Yeah? So there's no hiding from Britannic's performance. If something goes down, you're going to know about it as quick as we know about it. This is the same tools we use to manage ourselves. We'll extend to you. That's a bit of a reassurance as to our commitment of the product and the uptime of it. Okay. So it's a real whistle-stop tour. So over here, we've got a load of change, yeah? We've got a lot of business transformation that we're having to do, the board are doing it, and in between, we've got people trying to do something to try and embrace this change, embrace this transformation. So how are we going to make that happen? What process do we follow? And if I share with you this experience, and this has worked for clients that are global, it's also worked for customers who embarked on full cloud migrations. We do the discovery day. We spend time supporting you. So not only have you gone and done your discovery, you've put together the 5 points of your strategy, but we will work with you and we'll stress test that. There was a talk of a business analyst. How many of you got business analysts in your organization? Okay, a few of you. Easy to get hold of, easy to deploy? Bit tricky, yeah? So we're not professing to be highly qualified business analysts, but what we have got is a lot of experience, over 20,000 users to migrate to the cloud. We'll work with you to unearth what's needed on those business applications. There's other streams of cloud, other streams of integration. We don't, contact center and integration. We don't work with those key business areas if we don't understand the business processes taking place. So we'll help you through that. We'll also review your supply chain and overheads, because you know what, if you're really, really busy, why do you have lots of people providing you with things relating to communications? If we could harness that and simplify that supply chain and consolidate it, what would that do for your people's time? Ultimately, something's got to be measurable. It's got to be cost neutral into the business. I was on a conference call yesterday with a client where we're looking at taking all of their Mitel infrastructure up into the cloud, yeah, and outsourcing because they don't have enough people. The biggest thing that's stopping it is it's got to be cost neutral. If it's cost neutral, the board have agreed it. That's, as far as the board are concerned, if you can give me these business benefits and it's not going to cost me any more, the project's green lighted. Yeah? We'll help you. We've got analysts in our office who can help you pull through the bills, pull through different information to work up, ultimately, what is a model, a cloud migration model. My challenge to you is if we were to adopt that process, that strategy, how easy would it help you drive transformation in your business? And that's just part of our engagement process. Now, hopefully, we reached an agreement on that footprint on the Avaya slide where you guys hopefully come across and decide maybe that Britannic are the right partners for you to support you with the transformation, assuming I answered this question properly that I posed at the start. What else is going to happen? Well, we've got a load of change to manage, yeah? The point is, I'd argue, the changes, everyone perceives change of management as a huge thing, yeah? The reality is, remember that underlying compelling need that's going on with Maslow's pyramid of needs? People are embracing change within the organization now. They're actually changing themselves to support consume technology that's needed for their role. So actually, if you're deploying the right technology that's aligned to the right business processes, that's actually going to help the business and help the users do more, how much change are you going to push against? I would argue not a huge amount. There will be a little, in my experience. So we will align Prince 2 project managers to help work with you on that. We will align people, technical specialists, trainers, people to help some of the points picked up on the Microsoft slides about how UC is deployed and links deployed are what we embrace all the time. People, process, technology. Okay. Let's just talk about a real-life example, okay, because I've talked a lot about things. So I just want to pull all the strings together. So Kent Messenger Group, very, very pleased to be working with this organization. So the headline there is we saved 46%. Is that business transformation or is that cost reduction? I would argue that headline is a cost reduction. Fantastic, tick. But the migration to the cloud that we recommended was based on some further points. So let's actually lift the skin. Let's lift the results of the business analysis we did. Let's look at the transformation, that discovery day, pulling it all apart. Let's look what goes on. Mixed platforms, mixed supply chain, different technologies. Yeah? In-house telecoms manager leaving, yeah? Management and billing overhead. Contact center in place that wasn't perhaps working as efficiently as it could be doing. Are these points here, we haven't even touched cost at this point. This is just lifting the skin on the organization. The question I'll pose to you is how many of you are encountering similar challenges to those guys? So what did we do? Well, we went out and we looked at migrating up into a cloud infrastructure, working on the Mitel platform, and the net result of that is we delivered a new platform that was resilient, dealt with the mobility challenge that was there, supported home working, supported contact center working. We delivered it as a managed service, so all the moves and changes and the day-to-day distractions from your staff and your team, we picked that up and dealt with it. A flexible platform, so we weren't now locking the customer into a pigeonhole. We were putting them on a platform that they could flex and adjust and change as they needed to, because remember, things are changing really, really quickly. And scalability. How many people, organizations are involved in acquisitions? Suddenly there's a massive change. How are you going to embrace that? So the transformation change we delivered on the top paragraph was a huge amount. Imagine if you could put that into your organization. What would that do? If you could just solely focus on the 30 contact center agents and you could improve the way they retained your customers, kept the wolves at bay. Then we come down to the cost reduction. We took nearly 50% out of their ongoing cost model. So not only have we delivered a whole load of transformation change, we've also delivered a cost reduction, which in my view is a cherry on the cake. Yeah? Because it does require cost to transform to the cloud. Yeah? There is a cost for that. But if we can deliver that, that now from a board perspective becomes incredibly compelling. The question I posed at the start was, how can cloud enable business transformation? My view and my experience, this is my experience working with clients. I've been with Britannic for 12 years, so I've seen a number of shifts in technology, and I've worked with clients, the same clients over that time, new clients as well. Cloud absolutely supports a business transformation. There is no doubt over that. And the reason why it does, very high level, just recap, there is a huge amount of macro change going on, and it still continues. The geopolitical threats, the Ebola threat, what impact's that having on organizations at the moment? How are they responding to ensure workforces? We haven't hit the winter season yet. I'm sure we're going to get the swine flu concerns coming over. How are we going to keep our staff working? Is cloud new? I would suggest it's not. How many of you here are deploying have cloud within your organization of some sort? Yeah, at least half of you. The stats are saying 82%, so it's not new. I would argue how many of your users are deploying cloud that you don't know about, and that's called shadow IT. Why are they deploying it? Why? Because it's enabling them to do their job. We've built out what we believe is, 20,000 users, that's a pretty serious amount of users on a cloud platform. So we understand the cloud. It's got to be scalable, it's got to be available, it's got to be flexible. The provider has to absolutely be accountable, and they've got to be transparent about it. That's your business processes within cloud. And if you're going to support business transformation and you're going to take cloud as your vehicle to deliver that change, the chauffeur-driven car, yeah, you've got that, the chauffeur's there to drive it, but you want to know where they're going and what's going on. Not necessarily all the time, but if you want to see it, it's there for your need. The right partner's got to be strategically aligned to you, and as part of that joint discovery process, which is done very early in the project, yeah, you're building that trust about both organizations, because this is a long-term journey that you're embarking on. And above all, the bottom line is, if you remember my 5 points of strategic change, it's measurable. It's got to be measurable as a strategy. Cloud is measurable as per the Kent Messenger's case study. Key tangible changes, but also cost savings. If we could put 46% cost savings into your business by migrating to the cloud, I would argue that's quite a compelling discussion. Any questions?
So you say Kent Messenger's £69,000. In a percentage terms, tell us what the start
I'm happy. I don't have that. I can get that from one of my colleagues, but yeah. I don't have that for myself, but I can get it. It's one of my colleagues' accounts.
Yeah. You say that we go to the board and you say, I can do this at equal cost. Yeah. You can say, I can save the board 60.
Absolutely.
The first question,
yep.
Will they even ring you up and say, come and talk to us, how much at the start the roll-up cost?
Absolutely. I haven't got one of the guys here. Yeah, I'll come back to you on that. I haven't got that. But the key thing is, is where I look for with my accounts, right? There's a degree of change that you need to go through, and there's a cost for that change. There's a cost for onboarding. A lot of people move to cloud because it's the financial model. It shifts it from a CapEx model to an OpEx model. And that becomes an attraction. And that was why cloud, at the start of the recession, became actually the adoption rates drove it, because no one had CapEx budget to do something, so it shifted to OpEx. Now what we're able to do, and I will give you an answer on that, I'll email you it, is we're able to we can deploy cloud. If you've got CapEx, we'll put the CapEx to fund a transformation into the cloud. If you don't, we can look at vehicles to support you shifting it to a full OpEx model. And we can flex between the two, depending on how you got that. Because that's a key thing. Yeah, financially, it's got to stack up to the FD. Yeah, the total cost of ownership is absolutely key, and the cost of change. Any more questions? Okay. I am on Twitter. I do put some Twitter stuff out, so by all means follow me. Any questions, give me a shout, or ask any of my Britannic colleagues, and thank you for your time.